Well, welcome to another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop, and I'm very honoured to have a very, very interesting special guest here today who's come a long way to visit, and that is Brenda Vernor, who was Enzo Ferrari, il commendatore himself, his secretary for 25 years. And she's joined me here. Brenda, welcome.
Thank you.
I almost don't know where to start, because I mean, you lived to use the vernacular, you lived every day with a demigod. Where does
That's what they all say. I don't know. It was just another man for me.
But I think the fact, if I may say so, the fact that you are so matter of fact about it is actually one of the qualities that saw you through the whole thing, really.
Probably, but I was in the racing department with 199 men, and just me, the only English woman. Probably I was used to it because I have 3 elderly brothers. I always lived in a house full of men, so I knew how to treat them, and I knew how they should treat me. I wouldn't have any fuss, you know.
Well,
I don't know.
And was there, at Maranello, was there a sense of greatness? Was it sort of every day just business as usual?
No,
or
it was
was
just like an ordinary man coming in to his job.
Right.
We
So
never,
there was
he
no...
didn't like the fuss. He didn't like, you know,
interesting.
people making Enzo Ferrari. So from him, he was just a person that invented cars, and that was him.
Yes. And they were sort of, certainly in terms of racing, they were an extremely interesting period of Formula One history. I mean,
Yeah.
the late, obviously prior to you working there, but you'd have been very much aware of it, was what they called the killer years in racing. You know, drivers disappeared, I mean, had horrendous fatalities.
Yes, terrible accidents. But the funny thing about it, when I lived in England, I wasn't interested at all in Formula One. My house, it was only football. So if you didn't watch football, you didn't talk anything. You didn't even open your mouth. And of course, going into racing cars, I didn't have a clue what I was going into, because I didn't know what was going on. I'd never been there.
And you just got a phone call one day, didn't you?
I got a phone call from the old man. I called him the old man. He said, "What about coming to work for me?" I said, "I beg your pardon?" He said, "What about..." I said, "Oh, I don't know about that." He said, "Well, come tomorrow afternoon to Fiorano circuit. We'll talk about it." So I went. We talked. He said, "Right, I'll put you on a 3-month trial," which he did, and that was it. That was in '77.
Right. Which was, Nicky Lauda was still driving
Nicky
there?
Lauda was
And
there.
was it Clay Regazzoni?
And Clay Regazzoni.
Right. And your job description was essentially to look after the drivers, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. Wasn't at all.
Really?
My job was Enzo Ferrari secretary, doing all his English translations. You know,
Right.
all the, what was it then? It was faxes in those days.
Yes.
I used to have to send faxes from the old man to all the Formula One teams.
Right.
Everybody.
But you ended up, if it wasn't part of your job, you ended
It wasn't
up...
part of my job, but I looked after all the drivers. So I used to wash their overalls, pack their bags, unpack their bags, and I won't tell you what I used to find. Book their hotels, do everything for them. No? And I still do today, because when they need anything, they know where to call. Because if I can do something, I'll do it. If I can't do it, I'll say no.
Right. So you're still in touch with a lot of them?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
I speak to Jody at least once a month.
Right.
And Berger often phones me, Alazi. Of course, we lost Alboreto, which was very sad, because I used to go and spend my weekends in Milano with Alboreto and his family.
Gosh, I mean, you obviously could cut the mustard, to put it frankly. But what a fantastic life you've lived.
I had a wonderful life. I mean, my life began when I was 40. I mean, otherwise I'd been still stuck in an office in London, no social, you know, life at all. God, I've seen everything here.
And were there any particular moments that stuck in your mind during that whole 25 years?
Oh no, we had fun, you know, with the boys, with the drivers. The sad thing is when I remember seeing when Alboreto died. Now, I was at my dentist and I saw it on the television, which was terrible. You shouldn't get attached to them because you suffer more in that way.
Well, I suppose this is the thing about celebrity, isn't it? Even people who don't know them feel attached to them.
Yeah.
But for you,
It was terrible.
You were in the thick of it with them every day.
Every single, and then they used to give their ex-girlfriends, their girlfriends, because most of them were married, my telephone number, and I'd get a telephone call, and they'd say, "Hello, I'm Rosemary," or whoever. And I said, "Who the hell are you?"
Awkward.
They always put me in a, but I'm like, I never.
So you had to. Let's just say you had to be quick on your feet sometimes.
I've never said. I've written a sort of book just on the drivers because everybody writes about Ferrari, and I mean everybody knows about Ferrari. That's it. So I just wrote a book on the drivers themselves, what happened, what we did, and when they came in and the naughty things they got up.
Well,
You never got anything out of me.
No.
They knew that.
Yes.
So that's why they confided with me.
Exactly. Yes.
And the old man said the same thing. You got to be like the monkeys. You hear no evil, you speak no evil, say no evil.
Which, of course, you did.
Which I did.
And that's why you stayed.
And once everybody said you could write, I said if I wrote all what I knew, I'd sell 1 million copies, I reckon.
So you were also, after that time in the 1960s was an incredibly interesting time for Ferrari in its own way.
Yeah.
Because you had the Carlo Chiti walkout of 1961, when the Palace Revolt, as it was called.
Yeah, and he flogged them all. They all went out.
Yeah. Then, of course,
I wasn't there then.
No, you weren't. No. Then, of course, he thought Henry Ford too thought he'd got Ferrari in the bag.
No, there because he wanted to run the Formula One. The old man said, "If I can run my own Formula One, okay." That's why he never made a thing with Ford.
But the pen was hovering over the paper, wasn't it?
It was, but when the old man found out that Ford didn't want him to be in charge of his Formula One, that's it.
Have you watched the film Ford versus Ferrari or Le Mans 66? It's a paraphrase, isn't it?
I didn't even like the last film they made with Lauda and who was
Rush.
Rush. I didn't like that. And I went with the mechanics, the mechanics of that time. And we sat in the cinema, even they said, "That's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. That wasn't the car, that wasn't the helmet."
In a previous video I've done, I got sent the latest film, Lamborghini, The Man, the Legend.
Yes.
And there were lots of mistakes in that.
Yeah. I don't know who advised them, but anyway.
Yes.
When you go with the mechanics who work with them and they know it all.
Yes.
That's what.
And you spent a lot of time in the pits with them when they were preparing the cars, etc.
I used to go to Fiorano, yes, but the old man didn't like me going to the races. He wanted me there. He said, "You got to be here in Maranello." I went once. I remember. I wanted to go to the British Grand Prix. And I, going asking the old man something was a bit of a, because he never went anywhere and he couldn't understand anything, why anybody else wanted to go on holiday or anywhere, no? So anyway, I said to Godzi, I've got to go and ask the old man if I can go to the British Grand Prix. So I waited Tuesday, and then I waited till Wednesday, and I got to Thursday. I thought, God, I've got to go, I'm going. Yeah? So God said, "Don't worry, go. I'll talk to him. I'll do it." And I went. But when I came back, he put me through the mill because he said to me, "Who's your boss?" I said, "You are." He said, "Well, remember that next time you want to go to a Grand Prix." He was angry because I didn't ask him directly.
Right. Oh.
I'm your boss, not Dr. Godzi.
But was he a fair employer?
Oh, yes. Yeah. He's very good. I never had an argument with him. I never had a discussion with him. Never had anything.
And you could hold your own, couldn't you?
I would, yes, I would. I'm a person that if I know I'm right, I say what I think.
Yeah.
If I know I'm wrong, I keep quiet. Monty Semina told Piero, because afterwards I worked for Piero, told him, Brenda talks too much. I said, well, at least I talk. I'm not like you. No. I won't keep quiet. As I said, if I know I'm wrong, and I keep quiet. But when when you're working with all these men, you've got to stick up for yourself. Otherwise, they sit on you.
Oh, yes.
And I won't let them do that.
No.
Even with the drivers, I used to tell them off now. When they did wrong things or did something stupid, I'd say, you're a bloody idiot. No, but I'd tell them.
Was this more their personal lives or the sort of racing side of
No,
it?
I never interrupt with the racing. I wouldn't tell a driver what he should do or not do. I haven't got a clue. I mean, that's not No, in their personal life, they did something stupid.
Who are the drivers that you were particularly most fond of?
Everybody asks me that. They're all my boys.
Oh,
None of them.
that's lovely.
I love them all.
Yes.
And they still phone me, and they still send me Christmas cards, and they still... I mean, I get a Christmas card from Bernie Eccleston every year. I'm very good friends with Bernie. I like Bernie, because he's another one like me. What he's got to say, he'll say.
Yes.
White is white and black is black.
Yeah.
You know where you are with Bernie.
Yes.
And he's always been good to me. He's always been kind.
Amazing. I think there's a film. I think it's Grand Prix with James Garner and Yves Montand, and it's actually quite a lot of the footage is in the Ferrari works, if I remember.
Yeah,
it was just before your time, late 60s, early 70s, and I think that's probably one of the most interesting cinematographic historical records of that time.
Well, we did another one with Mike Parks, my boyfriend, 24 Hours of Le Mans with Steve McQueen.
Right.
And David Piper, where he lost his leg, bless him.
Yeah.
It was a shame. I was there, I went.
Did you?
Yeah, I went. And Steve McQueen used to come in every morning in his motorbike. And he was a lovely guy. He was just a normal guy. He'd queue up with all of us for his breakfast. He wouldn't say, I'm going, No, he'd queue up with us. And his son was there too, one of his sons. And we had a Porsche, Mike and I. And the son said, could I wash your car, madam? I said, yes. How much do you want? He said, $5. And the son used to wash our car.
Whose son, sorry?
Steve McQueen's.
Really?
Yes. It'd been $5 and he was happy.
Shoo.
Normal people.
Yeah.
He was a lovely guy. Very nice. It's like when, what's his name, the other, God, I can never remember, the good-looking guy.
Robert Redford? No.
Robert. What's his name? The director, Sidney Pollack, came to the factory. I said, you didn't bring me Robert Redford. He said, next time. I gave him a diary. I said, we'll give this to Robert and tell him we're waiting for him to come. He never brought him.
Oh.
No, Paul Newman. He's another one with a fantastic sense of humour. He came in and I said, would you like something to drink? He said, yes, I'll have a cup of tea, please. So I sent the young girl, I said, go and get a cup of tea for Mr. Newman. Instead of going to Cavallino, getting all the tray and a nice cup and everything, she went to the factory, to the machine, and got the tea out of the machine. And Paul started to drink. He said, now I know why everybody walks around here with a long face if they drink this tea.
Oh. Well, it's unusual for an American to ask for tea, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but he did. I don't know why, but he's quite funny.
He was a good driver as well, Paul
Yes,
Newman.
very good driver.
He drove a competition Daytona
Yeah.
with some success.
Yeah.
One of my favourite cars, actually, Daytonas, just before your time.
Yeah.
Obviously, so 77, it's the Berliner to Boxer stroke 308 era, actually. They just brought out the 512 BB in 1977.
That's when Jill came.
Yeah.
Met Jill for the first time.
Yeah.
He was a lovely guy. He was just a normal guy, just like simple things. No? I had a nice wife and 2 kids. Jacques I know very well. I'm always in touch with Joanne, because she lives in Canada now. We often, make a phone call.
Mm.
And Gilles slept at my house. He was in the circuit in August. In August, in Italy, everything closes down. You can't even get a cup of coffee. He was testing in Fiorano, and he said to me, "Have you got a bed at your house?" I said, "Of course I've got a bed." "Right, I'm coming to sleep there tonight." And he did. He came, I cooked for him. I made him tortellini with cream sauce, fillet steak with chips, and a mixed salad, fruit salad. He only drank water, nothing else. Then he went into my sitting room, my dining room, my sitting room, to study for the helicopter pilot license. At 10:30, he said, "I'm going to bed." Right, I gave him my bed. I slept on the divan. 7:30, I called him. He got up, had a shower. I said, "What would you like for breakfast?" He said, "Glass of water." That's all. Had a glass of water. I came and picked him up. We went back to testing. Simple guy, really. And I mean, all the people that used to be there, the fans, he'd sign for them, but he didn't like all that fuss, all the, hustle and bustle. When we went up to the airport to do the race with the jet pilot, I don't know whether you remember, I can't remember the name of the place. Anyway, we went up there, and after he'd won, we went into the hangar. We had to sit in the hangar 2.5 hours. We couldn't get out for all the people that were there.
Right, not Nicky Lauda.
No.
Because he's a pilot.
Gilles.
Gilles.
He drove the car. He did the race with the Formula One and the airline. Not the airline, the jet. What do you call them? The pilots that do the.
Display.
No.
Aerobatics.
No. Yeah, it's like our, what do we call them? The red
arrows.
Yeah, well, they're not the red arrows, but it's the same people.
Yes. Yeah, I've seen them actually.
He did a race with one of the pilots. The pilot went up and Jill on the track.
Well, I think you were probably there for, dare I say it, the best era. Really.
I think so too. It's completely different today. Even the drivers are different. The only other one I liked after my time was Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi is so typical. He's another one that has to say what he thinks. Couldn't care less about anybody or anything. But he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a good driver too.
But I think there was a lot more freedom then. I mean, obviously, Mr. Ferrari had the final say, didn't he?
Yeah, oh yes.
It was corporate, but he was the boss.
Yeah.
Well, Agnelli was a tough act to follow, wasn't he?
He was. He was a very nice guy, though. When he came, he always used to say hello to everybody. No airs and graces. He was a nice guy, gentleman. Funnily
enough, we're restoring a Jensen FF.
Oh.
And it was loaned to Agnelli by Jensen in period. He actually asked them if he could borrow it. Which they did. Most unlikely car for him to try in.
Yeah.
He had some very interesting cars. Fiat made, of course, some lovely one-offs for Agnelli. You met Agnelli, presumably?
Oh, yeah. He came to the factory. As I said, he said hello to everybody when he came. "Good morning, how are you?" No problem.
And did you, if a celebrity came to the factory, I know this is more the production car side of things now, but if a movie star or whatever...
Oh, yes, I met them all.
You got to...
Chris Rea, the thing, is my very good friend. He came, he made a bet with his drummer. He said, "I'm going to write a letter to Piero Ferrari." And the drummer said, "You'll never get a reply, forget it now." So when he wrote, I sent him a reply back. He won his bet. And we've been friends ever since.
Oh,
I often go to see him.
I like his music as well.
Yeah. And Nick Mason's my good friend.
Oh, yes. I've met him once or twice.
He's a lovely guy, Nick.
Yeah.
Simple, plain.
Yes.
No problems.
Yeah.
I've met them all.
Yeah.
And you realise how they are. I mean, you think most of them are a bit of a snob, but most of the people that I've met, the famous people, completely normal. Nice people. Ordinary people. you know them as they are out of,
Exactly.
out of
Out of the spotlight, as
Yes.
it were. Yeah. Well, that's what I say. I mean, it must have been. I can't imagine what it would be like to know these racing drivers, these Formula One drivers at the time, and then the likes of Alboreto you referred to earlier.
Oh,
The tragedy of seeing it
know.
on TV while you're sat
I
in.
saw it on TV. That's how I found out. I mean, Arnoux is funny. He's really. He used to, because they all changed in my room, in my office. The drivers when they came testing. Oh, so I've seen. All right, I've seen. That's all I say.
Full stop.
But Arnoux was a naughty boy. When he changed, he used to come in. He used to wear boxers, and he'd take them down and show his bottom and run up and down the hallway. I said, for Christ's sake, go in. If the old man comes in now, we'll all be in trouble.
Well, you never know. He could have left as well.
No. No, he might have done. No, that's what happened to me once when my birthday is the 15th of August, which is a very important holiday in Italy. And, of course, everything's closed. And the old man invited me for lunch with Piero and his wife and family and the mother of Piero, Signora Lina, in the circuit. So we all went to lunch together. And I was slimmer those days. I had a lovely white slim skirt with a split up the back and a nice blouse. Because, he watched what you wore. I wore a suit every single day, even when it was hot. I went once to the office with a pair of infraditi, just the sandals where you just put your big foot in. No, because it was so hot. And it was mid-August. Nobody was around. When he saw me, he said, "Where do you think you are, Riccione?" Because I was wearing these, never wore them again. He used to watch everything you wore. Anyway, this skirt, I got up and it split. The split went from the bottom to the top to my waist. I thought, God, how am I going to get out of here? It was open. So I started pushing the chair back this way to get up, to walk out backwards so he couldn't see me. And he said to me, "What are you doing that for, Brenda? What's going on?" No, I said, "I've had a bit of an accident. My skirt split." He said, "Good, turn around. We can watch your bum. Look at your bum."
Oh, he wouldn't
He
have
had a
survived.
wonderful sense of humour.
He wouldn't have survived 5 minutes today, would he?
No. But he liked to have a joke. He liked to play jokes on you. Anyway, he said, also when I was there, he said, when you walked out of his office, you turned around, you could feel his eyes on you. He would notice. If I asked him today, if he were here, God bless him, what I was wearing last Monday, he could tell me. He noticed everything. That's why I had to dress perfectly. Otherwise, you'd be in trouble.
Is it fair to say he was a detail man?
Yes. As I walked out one day, he said, "The best Formula One telaio I've ever seen."
Chassis.
I tell you, I said to him, "That's an exaggeration, engineer." I said, I'm the only woman here, there's no competition. Non ti importa. That's not important. I can see what I can see.
It's a good job you knew how to manage all this.
Oh, yeah, well, I was used to men. That's why, can you imagine 199 men in the office, the mechanics of that? There's one young boy, he had long hair. He used to go out every night and he'd sleep in his car outside the Gestione Sportiva, no? I used to have to go out and call him in. "Are you coming to work today?" And then I'd say to him, "Tonight you go to the barber's and cut your hair. Otherwise tie it up. You're not coming back in." He's one of my nicest guys now, today.
Really?
Gabriele, yeah.
And what did he do?
Mechanic.
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 On the Formula One team?
Yeah.
Right. This was the other thing, because Ferrari had their own foundry. They made their own castings
I went
for
to
the
them.
engine.
I used to take the visitors now and show them. You could show them the founder. We walk in the founder. You can't do that today.
No.
They won't let you.
No.
And I remember when I took one man to the factory. We're walking down the line where they build the cars. And there was one car, it was green. I hate green. I never liked green. I said to this guy, oh my God's sake, how can you have a green Ferrari? Only a German would do that. No? Said no more. He said nothing. When I got out, I said goodbye, and he thanked me very much for everything. He gave me a visiting card when I looked at Germany.
Oh,
The character said, you and your big mouth.
well, actually, it's amazing how many, because we restore Ferraris from the 60s and 70s, it's amazing how many of them were not red,
Yeah.
the road cars.
Well, I don't mind that. I mean, I like dark blue. I like grey, you know, crystal. But green, how can you have a green Ferrari?
Yeah. But they made some beautiful colours at the time.
I know. Yellow.
Beautiful.
Americans like yellow.
Yes, Giallo Fly. Yeah, lovely colour. And your favourite model is a 4-cam 275?
275 GTB4.
4, yes. Yeah.
I think it's one of the best cars they ever made. They don't make them like that.
No.
I mean, I see them every day running up and down Maranello testing, no?
Yeah.
They all look the same to me.
That's a 4-cam 275. That was the first 275 GTB4 I worked on. That was 1988.
My friend, I used to go to Pebble Beach every year. My friend has some. We used to go shopping in the 275 GTB. He had that. And the silly bugger sold it.
Oh.
Got a lot of money for it now.
I had a bit of a moment in that car. The throttle stuck full on while I was out road testing
God. What happened?
it. I hit the brakes, which didn't work because they have the brakes only work with vacuum, not wide open throttles. Then I pressed the clutch and the engine over revved, so I let the clutch out again. I ended up eventually reaching for the ignition key. But that was a bit hair-raising.
Yeah, I can imagine. But they don't make cars like that.
No.
You know, I see the cars today going up and down. They all look the same to me.
These clutch plates
Yeah.
are... This is out of a 250 GT,
Yeah,
and that's out of a Lamborghini Tractor.
exactly the same.
Yes.
The old man knew he'd copied him. He'd have killed him.
Well,
Used to argue a lot.
And you obviously knew the people from Lamborghini,
Oh
presumably.
yeah, I've been to Lamborghini, and I knew the guy that ran it. Now he's in Formula One.
Stefano Domenicali.
Yes, lovely guy.
Yes, he is. I've met him a few times.
Yes, yes. We
Yeah.
went. I took my friends to see the Lamborghini. Make nice cars.
Because he ran the Scuderia, didn't he?
Yeah. He did.
The
He
racing
was-
team
yeah.
for Ferrari.
Beautiful cars.
Yeah.
And the factories, well done. I mean, clean and everything.
So that would be the Countach era, 1977.
Yeah.
And did you know Bob Wallace?
I knew, always complaining. You say to Bob, "Hello, Bob, how are you? Bloody terrible." I've never known to be happy.
Anybody else you remember from Lamborghini? I mean, Ferruccio himself, of course.
No, I didn't know him. But
He was largely gone by the time you came.
no, he'd gone. He wasn't there.
I mean, the delightful Ingegnere Gian Paolo Dallara.
Oh, he's a good friend of mine. He was a good friend of Mike's too, Parks. But he's a gentleman. I went to see
Absolutely.
him a few months ago. He's always kind. He's always, welcomes you.
Yes,
He's a lovely man.
he is. I had the privilege of, with a friend of mine, Olivier Nimesh, actually finding him a Miura some years ago. And we were that close to restoring it for him. But events overtook us, really, or politics did. And I went to visit him with the Miura from the Italian job,
Yeah, good.
a car from the film, and he actually drove it.
Yeah,
For the first time he's driven a Miura for decades. That was lovely, actually.
yeah. Well, he's a lovely guy. He's a gentleman.
Very unassuming.
Yeah, no airs and graces. And he always welcomes you and makes you feel welcome.
Yes.
Actually, 2 weeks ago, Piero was given the key to Fiorano, which is the town just near where the factory,
Oh, really?
where the testing.
Yeah.
And Dallara was there. He invited him. So I met him.
Yes.
Piero's very good because he went through the factory. He didn't start from the top. His father was terrible with him. He was really strict with him. And he started from the bottom. He went through every single department. But he knows all the. He can tell you everything about cars. He loves the old cars too.
Maybe one day.
He's a good guy. I always defend him because lots of people talk badly about him. But I mean, I've known him since he was 16 years old. I taught him his English. But when I worked for him after the old man, because he asked the old man to have me as a secretary, and I'm not giving you Brenda. He said, no, they argued. So in the end, the old man said, we'll take her then.
Oh.
Yeah, so I went and worked for Piero. And I worked for him until I retired in '93. I taught the daughter English, the grandson English. I looked after the mother. The old man asked me if she has a house in the mountains above Maranello, where she used to go in the summer, and I used to go and stay with her. I used to come down to the factory and work during the day, and in the evening go up and stay with her. Because the old man asked me to. You don't say no to the old man.
No.
Even if you want.
Is there anything you haven't done apart from fix and drive the cars?
I don't think so. I think I've done it all.
I think you have.
How many have you got here?
So this is the first ever Countach I worked on in 1989.
Good.
And I haven't seen it since.
No, you don't see them.
We've got 4 of them here at the moment, but
What's this one?
this is a Diablo, Mura.
Mura, colour too. Yeah.
I call it the nail varnish Espada.
What car is this?
This is a Lamborghini Yelpa,
Never heard of that.
F40.
Never drive it in the rain.
Really?
Never drive it in the rain.
Oh, in the rain, yes.
No, it's
Yes.
very dangerous.
It's a car for skilled hands, the F40.
Yeah, but in the rain it's not very good.
Porsche 911.
I like Porsches. And I like the old ones too, like this.
Yep, that's a nice car actually.
Yes, that's a nice car.
Countach.
5,000?
Countach, to be precise.
Countach.
And this is 360.
I don't know any new cars, none of them. I don't know any of them. Well, it's not bad. Nice colour. Nice colour.
It is Tour de France Blue. It's called.
Yeah, nice colour.
Yeah. And this is Craig, who does our trim work.
Hello.
He does beautiful work.
Well, this is a funny colour, isn't it?
Well, this is olive green. If you were a yeah. Oh no, now I've said the wrong thing, haven't I? If you ever watch Bond films, the George Lazenby film, he drove
one of these.
Same model, same colour.
No, you're joking.
Olive green. I happen to like
It's
it.
not a bad looking car, actually.
No.
But it's unusual, the colour.
It is. It is.
With the beige inside, it's right nice, isn't it?
Bentley. I started my working life working on those. Yeah. Mura.
Couldn't miss this, could you, on the road? The bright blue. The old Alpha.
Yes.
We had a 1006. That's what we used to go to start with, Alpha.
Ah, okay.
Mike and I. What's this one?
Bentley Turbo R. Yeah.
You certainly have a lot of cars, don't you?
We do.
Jolly nice ones too.
We're busy.
And they're nearly all English people?
No, they come from far and wide, actually. We're doing a Mura that's come from the US.
Yeah.
The
way from America?
Yes.
Why do they send it here then? Because
I don't know. They seem to think we're good at our job.
Oh, there you are. It's a compliment for you, isn't it?
So yes, there it is.
Good.
But thank you so much for coming.
Not at all. My pleasure. Complimenti.
Grazie. Grazie mille.
I mean, there are so many cars there. You must be good.
Well, that concludes another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop video. I know it's been longer than usual, but how does one tease so much knowledge, experience, information out of somebody who has rubbed shoulders with a huge amount of 20th century icons, including working day in and day out with Enzo Ferrari himself. So hope you've enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe, and we'll be back with something else very soon.